Good Wednesday morning. We appreciate you joining us here at Good Morning Jacksonville. We're closely following this winter weather experiencing this morning. It is a lot colder than we're used to here in Florida, and we want you to be prepared. Now, here's what we know right now. The National Weather Service did issue a winter storm warning. This is for southeast Georgia and parts of northeast Florida. JTA is running on its normal schedule today. They're monitoring conditions, though, and will send updates if anything changes. We're going to keep you updated on all of this. It's going to be a fluid situation throughout the morning. And there are some major cancellations in our area, including flights, city offices, and schools. We're going to get a check of what's going on right now with those cancellations at JIA. That's where we find our Alex Osiris. He is standing by live with the very latest there.
Keith, good morning. Over a dozen flights have been canceled here at JIA. Some of these airlines starting to rebook their passengers or refund their tickets at this time. Several people walking past to say that they have to wait several more hours just to see if they'll be able to get out today. Now, coming up in our next half hour, we hope to talk to somebody at JIA about the de-icing machines that they have available to use in case this wintry mix hits the airport and what that might do to some of these canceled flights. We're following this situation as it unfolds. We're live at JIA. Alex Osiris, First Coast News, on your side. Keitha?
And now, weather with your First Coast News storm experts. Powered by AC Design's heating and air conditioning.
All right, good to hear from Alex Osiris, and looking at the latest European this morning. So let's look at this meteorologically. All right, so we're saying, mainly rain. Lauren is now verifying a little bit of freezing rain toward Waycross. We're also seeing a little bit of freezing rain sticking to vehicles in areas of Glenn County, Dock Junction. Lake City had a little freezing rain report earlier. But based on the latest positioning of this low pressure, it all depends, a lot of times on these storm tracks. Well, right now forming just off Miami in southeast Florida. This low is going to make a move to the north, but we're not going to see any real cold weather. The colder weather would wrap in until later this afternoon, and by the time that happens, watch what happens here. There's your snow breaking out toward Waycross this morning, well northwest of Jacksonville at 11:30. But notice your coldest air is still going to be holding back to the northwest. That's why most of us could see just mainly a cold rain. Now, temperatures are still at freezing in areas of Camden and Glenn County, and over toward Charlton County, you could still see some icy roadways and treacherous travel. But if there is good news, the latest track is favoring the changeover to more of an icy mix and a snow mix, not until after most of the precipitation is cut off. And here's what I mean. So no low pressure moves north, and then as it moves to the north, then it'll start wrapping in some cold air. But notice by the time we start to see that happen, here it is 5 p.m. Low pressure now eyeballing us to the east. That's when we're going to see the wraparound and then the snow line or the freezing levels drop in the atmosphere. So that may not happen until late this afternoon. And by the time that happens, most of the precipitation would be over. In fact, you can see we start to dry out by 7:30 p.m. tonight. So winter storm warnings, winter weather advisories continue. But for now, very optimistic, Lauren, that changeover and that colder weather will hold well to the west of Jacksonville. But for Waycross, you're still my bullseye. I could see maybe 2-3 inches of snow and some significant icing where you're at.
Hey, as long as everyone is safe and sound, I am happy to see some of that snowfall here in Waycross today. Right now, it is just kind of a nasty morning. The wind, thankfully, isn't that bad. And although we do have a bit of a wind chill, it's not adding too much insult to injury with these temperatures that are already below freezing. They were below freezing all night long, got to 28 here in Waycross, and that's why we've got fountains that are frozen just like this one. How cool is that to see? And definitely snap some pictures. But I will tell you, this town is a ghost town at this point. Everyone is likely snuggled up inside, maybe watching us on GMJ and trying to get out of this cold weather. One thing with the freezing rain is that the metal railings I've noticed across the street here are already very icy, and then the sideways are starting to look a little slick. They're definitely wet, but they're not slippery just yet. This is what will be a concern, is if we get just enough rain that falls and it's freezing on contact with the surface. Look at this, is actually a leaf right here. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but it's frozen underneath this little layer of ice that likely kind of blew off here from this fountain. So again, it is a pretty cool sight, but it can be dangerous out on the roadways, and that's why we've got our expert Katie Jeffries in the ViStar Credit Union Traffic Center. Katie.
Thank you so much. And you bring up a very good point. It's not just roadways you want to be careful on, just walking outside, especially if you're in areas where we are seeing that freezing rain. You don't want to slip, fall, and, break a bone. So please be careful out there this morning. 95 southbound here from Highway 40 there in Camden County down towards 295 in Jacksonville. Not seeing any reports of ice or any problems. There is a car off to the side of the roadway right near the Georgia-Florida border on the southbound side of 95, but it's in the right shoulder. Let's take a live look outside. Want to emphasize that all of your Jacksonville bridges, they are open at the moment. These are people going across the Fuller Warren. Let's take a look here towards your traffic maps. So don't panic when you see this pink. It just represents the potential for ice, and the green represents wet roadways. But if you are in parts of Brunswick, Waycross, like where Lauren was, Lake City, where our Lindsay Boach is headed, we are getting reports of freezing rain in that area, and that means it could kind of start to stick on the roadways in these 3 spots. So please be careful if you live around those areas, and maybe wait in your houses, maybe try and wait and delay your travel trips because you don't really want to be out driving in this. But in the Jacksonville area right now, no reports of ice on the roadways, and again, all the bridges are reported to be open. Download the First Coast News app. Any new information we get, we are sending out app alerts, especially if there's any type of issue with a bridge. We will send that out on the app alert right away. And I want to check in and see if we can get our Lindsay Boach. She's on her way out towards Lake City. And Lindsay, be extra careful because, like getting reports of freezing rain.
Yeah, that's right, Katie. We just actually got off of I-10 and are now going a little bit closer towards Lake City. And right before you came to me, I just saw a sign that actually had ice dripping off of it. So verifying that freezing rain. The difference between freezing rain and sleet, the freezing rain will happen when that rain comes down as water and then freezes on whatever it is, be it vegetation, maybe some metal like that metal sign that we just saw, or when it freezes on something. Now, when we're talking about sleet, when it's actually more of a frozen precipitation that's coming down. Not something that we're seeing out here. We are seeing that freezing rain, but here's a live look right now at the roads this morning. I haven't gotten out to check the sidewalks. Again, we just got off of I-10. There's a way station sign there, and I know you could not see that, but there are some icicles, it looks like, hanging off of the bottom of the sign. So I'll try and get a picture of one of those for you. Once we get a little bit closer into town, I'm going to check the sidewalks to see if those are a little bit slippery, but something that you don't normally see in Florida, especially even this time of the year. We'll be right back with more coverage of this winter storm after this.
And welcome back. We appreciate you waking up with us here at Good Morning Jacksonville on this Wednesday morning. It is now 5:55. What you're looking at right now is a live picture of the radar. Southeast Georgia and parts of northeast Florida are under a winter weather advisory. That pink you're seeing right there, that's the area we're expecting to see some ice today. For Jacksonville, though, we'll mainly experience cold rain. We have team coverage for you here all morning long, letting you know exactly what to expect if you have to hit the roadways this morning. We know you have a lot of specific questions, so we're on Facebook Live, and that's where we find Lewis Turner right now. He is standing by live with the latest on
Thank you, Keithy. On your side, every single platform, however you want to watch Good Morning Jacksonville. In fact, the entire broadcast right now on Facebook, if you go there and follow the stream. And in fact, there it's a little more interactive. You can actually ask us questions, and we really appreciate them as well. We got Carolyn asking, how long is this supposed to last, which is a really good broad question for everyone, I think. She's trying to get back home from North Carolina. I'll get specific and I'll get general. Well, how long is it supposed to last? It's a very fast moving system. So by this afternoon, while that low pressure area will be gone and most of the moisture will be up in the Carolinas, bringing them some pretty rocky weather, it'll just be cold air wrapping around that low. So things will clear out by this afternoon. Then tomorrow, some much colder air advecting into the area. I'd say travel out of North Carolina, though, Carolyn, you might want to give it a couple days if you can, because there's going to be some major winter weather there, especially coastal Carolinas. And I also had a question from Carlos. Carlos, appreciate it. Road conditions from Fernandina Beach, A1A 95 towards the airport. Right now, wet. And as you can see from the radar, right now over towards eastern Nassau County, a lot of rain. And then haven't had any reports of the ice on the roads yet. Everything is open right now. Brooks Baptiste on the social media side of things as well. Good morning, Brooks.
Hey, good morning, Lou. I actually want to bring you all right over here. We have our web producer, Miss Maylin. Want to show you what you can do if you come to our website. That is firstcoastnews.com. We have a list of flight cancellations, some of the closures in Florida and Georgia, some shelter information as well, and weather updates. So what you would do is go to our homepage and click on this link, that article, and there you'll see a list of closures. Want to scroll down just a little bit more to see to show everyone how easy this is. Shelter information, school closures, the city rescue mission, and then now we have the preparation information for what the airports are doing as well. Of course, again, that is all on firstcoastnews.com. And I want to get over here to Tagboard. One last thing. Check out these pictures. We're using the hashtag FCNFreeze, and this was actually tweeted out by our storm expert, Lauren Routon-Krantz. This is not something that you see every day. You talk about frozen fountains, right? So make sure you're using that FCNFreeze hashtag and download our app, and we'll continue to bring all of those latest updates as GMJ returns right after the break. We're back after this.